Hey everybody, welcome to Story Time. I'm your presenter, your author, your storyteller, Timm Holmes, and I can't wait to give you tonight's story. And as a hint as to what story we're going to be doing, I've got the t-shirt on. So tonight, if you haven't guessed already, if you haven't seen the social media about it, tonight we're going to be doing my very first book, Peanut Butter and Dragon. Now, Peanut Butter and Dragon was the very first story we made into a children's book that you could go to the store and go on Amazon and pick up and actually hold. It was our first story that we decided to share with the world. And the reason we made it the first book was that Peanut Butter and Dragon was the very first story that we had ever made up for the boys at bedtime. And so Peanut Butter and Dragon is very close to my heart. It is the story that first started this entire adventure, and so I can't wait to share it with you this evening. So if you've got a copy, by all means, grab your copy. You can follow along as you go. If you don't, that's cool too. I really need your help as we tell this story tonight. There's some actions and shouting out that I need you to do as we play along with the storytelling. Now, when we first made this story up, I went to the boys. I, gotten really, really bored reading all their favorite books over and over and over again. And so I said, boys, I've been writing stories since I was 8 years old. Would you please let me make up a story for you? And they said, no, Dad, we want a real book or a real story. And I thought, I know what they mean. What they meant is that they wanted something physical they could touch, they could feel, that there were pictures too. And so it took a lot of convincing, but they gave me one shot. Dad, you've got one chance. And well, since then I've had many more chances. So I think that first chance went really, really well. And that very first time when we made up Peanut Butter and Dragon, I said to the boys, what do you want to hear about tonight? And they thought about it for a bit, and they picked their nose for a little bit. Yeah, well, they're kids, it happens, right? And so then I said, guys, what do you think? And they said, we want to hear about dragons. And I went, oh, that's a very good beginning. How would you like your story to end? Would you like a scary ending or a surprise ending? Or maybe you'd like a happy ending? And they chose a happy ending, which as a dad, I thought was a pretty good idea for a bedtime story. So then we had the dragon at the beginning. We had a happy ending. What's going to happen in the middle of our story? In a story like this, when we have a hungry dragon land in the middle of the neighborhood, what's going to happen? What's it going to eat? Now, my oldest son, Malcolm, he's quite serious, bit of a scientist, and he looked at me with his very serious scientist face. He said, well, Dad, dragons eat sheep. So obviously the dragon's going to eat sheep. I went, all right, Malcolm, not a bad idea. Cooper, what do you think? Now, you have to understand, Cooper is a bit of a goofball. And so he made a big show of thinking. And he went, I don't know, what's a dragon going to eat? Pancakes, licorice, lollipops? I don't know, who could eat anything? And then he finally gave me his answer. And do you know what he said? Oh, I bet you some of you guys are guessing peanut butter. A lot of people do. But that's not what he said. He looked at me with his big goofy eyes and his big goofy grin. He said, Dad, I think the dragon's going to eat my brother. And they were laughing, they were giggling, and I went, no, that's super gross. No, we can't have the dragon eat your brother. That's nasty. And I knew they both loved peanut butter sandwiches. So I said, boys, what if the dragon ate peanut butter? And they both went, yay! And so I immediately knew that I had to tell them a story about a hungry dragon who ate peanut butter sandwiches, and we had to have a happy ending. And so this is Peanut Butter and Dragon. And with this story, I need a little bit of help. So with this story, Malcolm is worried about a dragon landing in the middle of the neighborhood, and he's worried about three things specifically. He's worried that the neighbors are going to call the police. Now, in real life, Malcolm's actually kind of afraid of sirens. They bother him. They freak him out. And so he doesn't want the neighbors to call the police and have the police come with their sirens. So he's afraid that the neighbors will call the police. So when I say that in the story, the neighbors will call the police, can you guys shake a phone up next to your head? Yeah, if you can't do this version, you could just close your pinky and you can hold a Nokia phone up next to your head. There you go. You don't know what a Nokia phone is? Ask your parents. Now, the second thing he's worried about is that his mom's going to freak out. And his mom freaks out like this. Can you guys freak out with me? Now, the third thing he's worried about is that his little brother is going to get scared. And his little brother gets scared like this. Oh, no. Can you guys get scared with me? Oh, no. That's awesome. All right, so the 3 things I need your help with is that if the neighbors are going to call the police, let me see those phones, shake those phones. And then his mom's going to freak out, everybody. And then his little brother is going to get scared. His little brother gets scared like this. Oh, no. Oh, you guys are ready. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, Peanut Butter and Dragon is your bedtime story tonight. Now, Malcolm and Cooper had just finished lunch and were washing their hands when they heard a terrible thud outside. I heard that noise, said Cooper. Now they both stood as still as statues, and they listened for the noise again. It got very quiet. And then they heard thud, roar. Let's check it out, said Malcolm as he ran to the front door. No way, said Cooper as he ran to the couch and hid under a blanket. Malcolm opened the front door very carefully. What he saw was a normal, bright and sunny summer day. Oh, except, of course, for the dragon. In the middle of the front lawn stood a gigantic orange dragon. It had short little arms and a long snout and teeth as big as Malcolm's head. Now Malcolm stepped bravely out onto the front porch and he used his loud voice so the dragon would hear him. And he said, "Hey, dragon, you can't stay there. The neighbors," what are they going to do, guys? The neighbors, they're going to call the police. My mom's going to freak out. Ah! And you're going to scare my little brother. Oh, no. Good job, guys. The dragon took 2 big steps towards the house. Thud, thud. And all of a sudden, Malcolm found himself nose to snout with the dragon. And the dragon spoke in his deep, deep dragon voice and said, "I am very hungry. I ran out of sheep to eat, but you look pretty tasty." Malcolm blinked 3 times, very quickly. Blink, blink, blink. And then he said, "Dragon, stop joking. I'm not tasty. I'm a boy." The dragon licked its scaly lips. And it spoke in its deep, deep dragon voice and said, "Dragons eat pretty much anything, especially when we're hungry." Now, Malcolm thought about being eaten by a dragon. No, that was not a good idea at all. He did not like that idea at all. Malcolm thought about what he liked to eat. Peanut butter sandwiches. Malcolm thought perhaps he could feed the dragon those instead. Then Malcolm heard his mom coming down the stairs. And he used his quiet voice so his mom wouldn't hear him. And he said, "Dragon, I have something better for you to eat. But you can't stay here. The neighbors," what are they going to do, guys? "They're going to call the police. My mom's going to freak out. Ah! And my little brother, he's going to get scared. Oh, no. Meet me in the backyard in 3 minutes." And Malcolm, he went back inside. "Cooper, time for your nap," called their mom. Cooper poked his head out from under the blanket and asked, "Is it safe?" "Well, of course it is, you little chipmunk. Now follow me and we'll read a story," answered their mom. Malcolm watched Cooper and their mom go upstairs. Malcolm ran into the kitchen and he opened the mega-sized jar of peanut butter. And he began to make 3 peanut butter sandwiches as fast as he could. The jar, it went that way. And the bread, it went that way. And the peanut butter, it went everywhere. Malcolm ran to the back door and he found that the dragon had squeezed itself into his small backyard. Its legs were pinned under its body, its wings were tucked in tight, and its tail stuck straight up in the air, like a flagpole. And then the dragon spoke in its deep, deep dragon voice and said, "Oh, your backyard is squishing me." Malcolm said, "Catch!" And the dragon opened its mouth as wide as it could. And Malcolm shivered when he saw the dragon's teeth so close. But he bravely threw the 3 peanut butter sandwiches at the dragon. 1, 2, 3. And the dragon snapped its mouth shut, chewed once, and swallowed. The dragon licked its lips, and it spoke in its deep, deep dragon voice. And he said,
That was delicious, but I'm still a very hungry dragon, and you still look pretty tasty.
Malcolm crossed his arms over his chest and he said, I told you, I'm not tasty, I'm a boy. I'll go make you some more peanut butter sandwiches. So Malcolm closed the door and he went back to the kitchen. He opened the cupboard and he blinked 3 times very quickly. Blink, blink, blink. There was no more bread. Now Malcolm thought again about being eaten by a dragon. No. Still not a very good idea. And Malcolm knew that his mom used money from her purse when they went to the grocery store. He also knew that you shouldn't touch other people's things without asking. But this was kind of a gigantic hungry dragon emergency. So Malcolm borrowed some money from his mom's purse and he ran down the street to the grocery store as fast as he could. When he got to the grocery store, Malcolm grabbed the largest shopping cart he could find, but he didn't know where they kept the bread, so he decided to ask for help. He saw a girl in a yellow apron. She was putting cans on the shelf. And Malcolm walked up and said, Hello, I have a very hungry dragon in my backyard, and I need help finding the bread very quickly, please. The girl in the yellow apron gave Malcolm a really big smile. Sure, she said, the bread's in aisle number 13. Well, thank you, said Malcolm. Zoom! Malcolm raced off to aisle 13, and he filled the cart until it was piled high with a tipsy-topsy tower of bread. Zoom! He went to the checkout counter. The lady behind the cash asked, where's your mother? Malcolm blinked his eyes 3 times very quickly. Blink, blink, blink. Then Malcolm said, she's dealing with my little brother. He's kind of cranky if he doesn't get a nap. That's a lot of bread, she said. Oh, it's for the dragon in my backyard, Malcolm replied. The lady chuckled, took the money, and gave Malcolm the receipt. Now Malcolm pushed the shopping cart down the sidewalk, and the tipsy-topsy tower of bread went wibbly-wobbly, 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 all the way home. That is until it hit the curb, and the bread came tumbling out all over his front lawn. Malcolm heard a deep, deep laugh, and he looked up. The dragon was sitting on the roof of his house now. Malcolm said, Hey, dragon, you can't stay there. The neighbors. What are they going to do, guys? They're going to call the police. My mom's going to freak out. Ah! And you're going to scare my little brother. Oh, no. The dragon spoke in its deep, deep dragon voice and said, Let the neighbors call the police. I hope your mom does freak out, and I hope I scare your little brother's socks off. The more people show up, the more I will have to eat. Nom, 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 nom. You promised me more peanut butter sandwiches, and it's taking too long. Malcolm said, I'll get you those sandwiches. Wait right there. He ran into his house and he grabbed the mega-sized jar of peanut butter. Oh yes, and a spoon. He grabbed a spoon too. Malcolm rushed back out onto the front lawn. He had to hurry before the dragon ate his mom, his little brother, and the neighbors too. He opened the peanut butter, grabbed some bread, and began to make sandwiches. He slapped down the bread, he scooped up the peanut butter, he squished it together, and he tossed it at the dragon. Slap, scoop, squish, toss. Slap, scoop, squish, toss. Slap, scoop, squish, toss. Malcolm thought it would never end. And then it ended. There was no more peanut butter. There was no more bread. And Malcolm's arms, they were so tired. He looked up at the dragon, and he could see peanut butter dripping all around its mouth. It dripped on his claws, it dripped on the roof. What a mess! The dragon, it tried to say something, but Malcolm couldn't understand it, because the dragon's mouth was stuck shut with peanut butter. The dragon tried to speak again in its deep, deep, peanut buttery dragon voice and said, Murfle, Durfle, do. The dragon hopped off the roof with a very big thud. And the dragon put his peanut butter smeared snout right up against Malcolm's nose. And he stared with his gigantic eyes for 10 whole seconds. Yep. And then it tried to speak again in its deep, deep, peanut buttery dragon voice and said, do. Malcolm fell over backwards and laughed and laughed. But the dragon did not find this funny at all. The dragon stomped its feet, thud, 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 thud. And it spoke one last time in its deep, deep peanut buttery dragon voice and said, and then it flapped its enormous wings and flew away, presumably forever. The end. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was Peanut Butter and Dragon, my very first book. It turns 3 years old this coming May, which is insane to actually even think about. So much has happened since Peanut Butter and Dragon, which I really hope you guys enjoyed the storytelling tonight. One of the things, or a couple of the things that have happened since Peanut Butter and Dragon is my second book, Splash Fin Toothy Grin. And just this past November, we released The Reno Buzz. Now, I always try to work in some interactivity because I've got a couple busy boys, and Malcolm and Cooper, their attention spans haven't always been the best. And so part of my storytelling has always been to work in a piece to have everyone be a part of the story. So today, everybody during Peanut Butter and Dragon, you got to scream like Mom, ah! You got to shiver like Cooper, oh no! It was a lot of fun to do those silly actions, wasn't it? So in my second book, in Splash Fin Toothy Grin, you get to play the game throughout the whole story. You get to play Splash, Fin, Toothy Grin, the shark version of rock, paper, scissors. Because Cooper and the friendly shark, no one wants to play with them because they play too rough. So they're trying to find different games to play to figure out and learn how to be more gentle. That's what Splash Fin Toothy Grin is all about. The Reno Buzz is the newest one, and it is all about an absolutely super boring day on a rainy day, and the boys think there's no fun to be had. And in this story, there's a little invisible friend that shows up that shows them exactly how it has fun, and it's with some dance moves. And so, of course, the Reno Buzz, if it has dance moves, it's got to have some music. And so if you've got Spotify, you can actually check out the Reno Buzz song on Spotify. If you purchase the Reno Buzz book through the bookshop at timmholmes.com, you'll get a free download code to download the Reno Buzz song for free. And it's a goofy, silly song, and you get these goofy, silly dance moves that you learn through the telling of the story, and then you get to have a dance party after you finish the book. So those 3 books are a great load of fun. But more than anything else, what I love to do is get you guys inspired to write your very own stories, whether you are 5 or 95. And so these story times that I've been having, what I've been doing is a lot of times I've been celebrating these limited edition books. Oh, the other way. The limited edition books that are created during the Start a Story Young Writers Workshop. But we can't do Start a Story Workshop right now because everybody's got to get together in a big group. And so on Facebook Live, one of the things we've been doing on Sundays is, and you can check my video archive for this, is we've been putting out story starters. And so it's an image with a few words underneath. And if you go check out that video, you could actually get some ideas about how to begin your very own story about that story starter. And my challenge I'm putting out to children and families this week is to check out that story starter video. Then check out my Build-A-Book videos that are up in my archive as well. We did a workshop on Facebook Live a week or so ago, and you'll follow that template, and you'll be able to build your own story. And if you have a chance to do it, and you give me your mostly finished story, I will storytell it as part of the bedtime stories this coming Saturday. Or really any Saturday, quite frankly, when I do my bedtime stories. So if it takes you longer, it takes you a little bit longer. But I would love to see your stories shared with me, and then I'll share them with everybody. And we can have a lot of fun that way. Now, another way we're trying to get everybody excited and inspired to stay creative is this coming Thursday. We're going to do Facebook Live at 1 p.m. and we're going to have an Ask the Author event. So I'm going to hang out with you guys for like 30, 40 minutes at 1 p.m. on Thursday. So I figure you got all your schoolwork done in the morning, have some good lunch, and then we can get creative in the afternoon. And you guys can chat with me about the stories that you're working on. You can ask me any question you've ever wanted to ask an author about how to write, how to publish, all of those things. I'll be talking about my process a little bit and where I'm at and where I'd like to be and where I'm going to go. But if you want to be there, you can put up questions in the comments. Also, if you can't make the live session at 1 p.m., but you're going to check it out later, you can go to timmholmes.com, go to the contact page, submit your questions in advance, and I'll do my best to answer those while we're live on Thursday there. And then, of course, I mentioned this already, Saturday night at 7 p.m., we're going to have another story time, so I hope to see you guys all there. Now, guys, if you like what's going on here, if you like what I'm doing, I would love for you guys to show support for me by telling 3 people who don't know about me. Tell them about what we're doing here on Facebook Live. Tell them about the activity download section at timmholmes.com, which is, of course, right there, timmholmes.com. Tell them about the free activity downloads page where you can get worksheets and crafts and everybody can get creative. And honestly, you can go to timmholmes.com, click on the menu, go to bookshop, and you can pick up any of my books autographed. And you can let me know exactly how you want them autographed. You can get your Peanut Butter and Dragon, your Splash and Tooth Again, your Reno Buzz, and I'll mail them out to you nice and safe that way. So guys, thank you so much for being part of Storytime tonight. As always, this time of night, it's about time for me to do my story time with my boys, Malcolm and Cooper. So they're waiting patiently for me. So take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and have a wonderful evening. Cheers. Take care.